In today's video, I'm going to be discussing why EA continue to let DICE support Star Wars Battlefront 2. And I feel this is a very interesting topic. It's going to answer a lot of questions, those being the bugs, the flood of content in the game, why we don't get a lot of skins that we can buy with actual money and they're done with challenges, and so much more. It's honestly just time to break it down here, because when you go back to Battlefront 2's launch, obviously we all know what happened with the launch, the pay-to-win fiasco and everything like that. And EA are the main publisher of Battlefront 2. DICE work on the game, but EA oversee what DICE do. EA have got their name in the logo, DICE don't have their name in the logo. So yeah, we know all EA care about is money, and that's not a bad thing. Companies care about money, that's how you run a business, that's how you keep things going. But EA failed to a ridiculous degree, let's be honest, where they sometimes put money ahead of actually keeping their customers happy, and this has been a big problem with mainly FIFA and Madden games like that, where the microtransactions have just been so pay to win that it basically means if you don't put money into the game, you don't stand a chance. And they tried to do the same thing with Battlefront 2. It all went wrong, ended up getting them the most downvoted Reddit post in history. That's actually in the new Guinness World Book of Records, which I find absolutely hilarious. But let's be honest, this caused things to be, I wouldn't say a financial disaster for EA. I'm sure loads of people still bought Battlefront 2, but not as many people bought it as they would have without this kind of controversy surrounding it. And not just that, but it's forced them to put the game up for very cheap now, which does happen with games after a long period, but this was happening pretty quickly because of what happened at launch. They had to remove microtransactions from the game for months, so they got rid of them in November and they didn't return till March/April time. So along with not many people buying the game in general, they also couldn't make money off microtransactions. Battlefront 2 wasn't making EA any money, and not just EA in this scenario, but any company. Why are you going to care about something that isn't generating you any income if you're a business? You're not. Yet out of nowhere, we start to get all this free content. Not just free content, but content the fans have asked for. Unlike Battlefront 1, where you had to pay for all this extra content, and on top of that, it wasn't necessarily what the fans always wanted. DICE are now producing what was seen as the impossible for a long time, adding Clone Wars heroes, maps, reinforcements, skins, you name it. And all for what really, because in that time where there was no microtransactions in the game, players built up a lot of credits. Unless you're a new player now, experienced players and even players who have just been here a few months, to be honest, have got enough credits to buy every skin in the game, or every skin worth buying in the game, meaning nobody really bothers with microtransactions because there's no point. Even some of the cooler skins are done by challenges. There's no business model with Battlefront 2, let's be honest. I know I can attract the odd dev reply here and there on Twitter with my videos. Even if they try to disprove this one, the evidence is kind of there as to why they're doing what they're doing. And EA are allowing DICE to continue to support Battlefront 2 for their own good, for their own reputation, and that's because of the launch. There's never been a game in history that's had a more controversial launch than Battlefront 2, and EA needed to do something about that. There was two options for EA. They just take the hate, don't change anything, and let people continue to slander their name, or they actually take the worst game in history when it comes to launch and make it into something amazing, so therefore the people out there who maybe criticised EA can say, well, it looks like they've changed, even though they haven't, judging by their other games, but it looks like EA have changed, and maybe this is a step in the right direction for the company. And in all fairness, bugs aside, they've done that. A lot of the gaming community has EA's respect, more so DICE's respect, but you have to remember EA is allowing DICE to do this. They've got their respect right now for allowing them to do this. And this is to protect themselves, make it all free, add the content that the players actually want, and adding quite a bit of it as well, considering we're getting like no funding of this game. It's completely down to EA's reputation that they are allowing DICE to do this. But at the same time, EA are money hungry, as I said, more so than most companies out there, and they've got other titles to work on. They've got a new FIFA to make every year. It's a brand new game, definitely not with just some minor things changed here and there. They make Battlefield games, they make FIFA games, the list is endless. They've got a lot of games to make, and that requires a lot of stuff. So, what does that also mean? A game like Battlefront 2 that is nearly 2 years old can't have stuff moving towards that game when there's new titles which are actually going to generate income to focus on for the other stuff. So EA's deal with DICE probably went something along the lines of this: we'll allow you to kind of bring this game back, give it a new reputation, but we can't guarantee you the stuff in order to do so, especially knowing that we're probably not going to generate that much money off this game. So now what you have is a game that basically generates no income, like I said, nothing from microtransactions, because there's still not enough people on the team to be bombarding us with skins, and they don't make any money off game sales, because let's be honest, at this point the game costs like, what, £5 in places? You've got EA allowing DICE to keep adding things to this game, but at the same time giving them not the biggest team in order to do so, which is causing a lot of bugs. So you've got some passionate people working behind the game, as much as I like to call the devs for their incompetence sometimes. They do seem passionate about Star Wars, I can't take that away from them. You've got these passionate fans working on the game, but you've not got enough of them, therefore causing bugs. So EA don't advertise their bugs. When you take a look at the bigger picture, the game looks like it's made an immense comeback to the gaming community, which it has, but at the same time, because of the amount of stuff they've got working on the game, it's full of bugs. But that is basically the situation as to where are DICE getting the funding from for this? Well, it's coming out of EA's own pocket to protect themselves, not DICE. I mean, DICE are the ones doing all the work here, and EA just gets the applause, don't they? Typical them, to be honest. But I'm going to leave it there, everyone. I definitely expect people who just love EA and won't criticize them to go for me on this one. I kind of expect some of the DICE devs as well. They comment on my stuff sometimes, so if they were ever going to comment again, it's probably now to say how wrong I am, because they're obviously going to protect themselves. If you're smart, you can see through that, and I can't even blame them for trying to disprove this, because they're going to want to protect themselves and protect the game. But this is what's going on behind it, and this isn't me criticizing DICE, by the way, because bugs aside, I think they're doing an excellent job. It's just EA and the real reason behind it. But thank you very much for watching, everyone. I do hope you enjoyed, and I shall see you all next time.